Welcome back guys to another video. So on this video is going to be more of like a storytelling thing, but I'm also going to be showing you more of like the things that I'm talking about. So basically I'm going to be telling you my journey to become the kind of a person I am. So as you can see on the screen, I wrote how I learned coding and hacking basics. I can't say hacking in overall because people might be like, I do know like most of the stuff, but I've learned, I can say pretty much the basics. Otherwise, let's jump into this thing. I've got myself something to drink while I do some storytelling. Hope you enjoy. So let's roll back to 2019. I took a gap year. I finished my matric during 2018. By 2019, I took a gap year, and then by that year, my brother gave me a computer, a laptop, and then I'm not so sure if it's interest of everybody, but I had this interest for hacking. It's like when you see hacking on the movie, it's like something that is interesting. You just see some waves fall on the screen, and then the next thing, access is granted, which is amazing. And then I wish to do something like that. And then where I come from, I didn't have a privilege to have internet connection all day long. So I knew I had to rely on night owl, late data. So I'd have to wait until midnight, and that's when I'll be online. So what I did was, it was pretty, and it's actually an interesting story. So I learned how to hack passwords. It's like a basic thing. How can you break into someone else's password? And somehow I came across this thing called command prompt, and then I researched about it only to find out, you know what? I've been having this thing all the time along on my computer. Then I searched command prompt on my screen. I'm gonna pull it here so that you see what it is. So this is basically what a command prompt is. I hope you can all see. Okay. So this is basically what it is. It's a command prompt. And then I was wondering, what can I do with this thing? They said to understand this thing, you should just type help. So I said help. Voila, I just saw a lot of things, some information dropping down, almost like the ones that we see on the movies. Then I was convinced that this is a tool that I need to know how to use. I saw some basic commands to remove things, delete some stuff, create directories, and to make a directory. I learned the basics of like this thing. Okay, no problem. Then I was like, you know what can I do that is dark about this thing? Right? So I was questioning, what can I actually do? Oh, so as I was going through, I saw something like this. Okay, shutdown, allow proper local or remote shutdown of a machine. So now I'm like, okay, I can shut down a machine without really pressing the button or going and then clicking shutdown, but to type something and then it does the thing. Then I started going through all over this thing. Somehow I saw something of changing a password. I think that one I googled it, and then I changed the password. I was just testing, but it really changed the password of the machine that I was using. And then I logged off from the machine. And the next time when I tried to log in, the password is changed. And then I recalled that, okay, I did apply a command on which that command changed the whole thing. Now it is pretty exciting. Then I get to understand the power of this thing. And then I was like, you know what? This is really powerful. So time went by, I started researching more about this thing. And then I came across this thing of like, you can view all the network or Wi-Fi that you have connected to. So I understood something. I'm not so sure if it's something that actually happens, but I do kind of understand human behavior a little bit much better. I understand something about people. People hardly change passwords, and most of the people personalize their Wi-Fi passwords. Reason being is that when you connect, you want to recall. You don't want to keep checking what is your password. You just want to recall your password. That's why most of the people personalize their passwords. So I knew if you use your password on your Wi-Fi, there's a chance you use it somewhere else. Let's clear the screen. So what I did was that I found out there's a command on which is written like this. This command is like so this thing, it shows what all the Wi-Fi password this computer is connected to. As you can see, Probably I'm gonna probably hide some stuff also. So some AirPod, some iPhone. I don't know what phone is this. Like some information about all the Wi-Fi's that I've connected to. Okay, no problem. So as you can see, we do have all this list of networks I've connected to previously. So, and then I recall something. Every time when I connect to a network, I need to provide a password. It's like a normal thing. And then I remember by that time I had a friend on which he hotspotted me on my computer, meaning I was using his hotspot to connect to the computer. My question was, can my computer recall the password that I've entered? He didn't let me type the password. He's the one who typed it. But my computer recalls the Wi-Fi. Then I was like, you know what? I can actually pull information about the password that the person used. And then, since it's just a person, there's a chance that this password is being used somewhere. It might be on Facebook, it might be on Gmail, it might be somewhere else. Okay, so from that thing, I was like, I'll just be showing you an example of like, so let's go back to this command. Let me show you. I'm gonna be trying to pull information from this thing. So, okay, let's clear. So, as always, so show profile, we specify the name of the profile, in this case was 490, and then we say key is equals to key. And then it showed information about that specific Wi-Fi. So trust me, if I go down, it will show deeper things like password and all that thing. I'm just gonna clear from now. I'm just telling you a story of how I went through this thing. So now I understood the power of what? Of a terminal. Then we move forward, and as I move forward, I need to get to varsity. You know, after finishing your high school, you need to move on to the next step, which is varsity. So as I was on a gap year, so I started learning programming. I'm telling you, I learned programming on my gap year. I was learning Java basically. So as I was learning Java, what I was actually using, I was using an IDE called NetBeans. I need to pull this one. This is something I need to pull. There was something called NetBeans. I'm telling you. This is what exactly I was using. I think I still have a screenshot on my phone on which it was taken. Normally I would code midnight because that's when I had access to the internet, and then if I have a problem I would search. It was much better. Even though my English was not good, reading a document was like almost like a waste of time because I didn't understand a lot of things. Things like create a class, create an object, instantiate an object. Like, what is instantiate? English is not the first language. What are they talking about? So I didn't understand a lot of things. So from then I was like, you know what? I need to learn this thing. Then in my area, the most popular thing is IT, information technology. So I was like, I want to do this thing called IT. So when I get to check most of the universities that provide IT, I see things like some components, like some like they get inside the computer, most of them. And then I got confused. I didn't want to do that thing. And then I said how to learn to code. I think I was on YouTube by the time. It pulled most of like the overseas videos, people from America and all that. And then I got to see something called computer science. Again, now it became interesting. What is computer science? I remember I watched this video from a space. I'm not so sure the name. I don't remember the name of the university, but it was interesting. It hooked me into computer science. I started searching all over, checking where can I go for computer science. And I realized Nelson Mandela provides computer science with commerce. I've done commerce at my when I was in high school. So I kind of understood commerce mostly. Like, to be honest, I understood commerce back then. I was not good. I was good, but not great. If I were to put myself, would describe myself as a learner back then. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn this thing through commerce. Since I do know most of the things about commerce, that means I'll spend less time studying commerce and more of like computer science. So I enrolled in a course called BCom Computer Science and Information Systems. First year, 20, 20. Yeah, I got into varsity. So when I got here, the first thing that I did was like I was allocated to a specific residence. My biggest wish was to have internet connection. That's all I needed. So I got to my res, and then the first thing that I asked to my residents, I was like, "Can you please give me Wi-Fi password?" That's all I needed. And then they were like, "Okay, we're gonna give it to you. Relax." I waited. Then I was assigned to a room. I opened my computer. I was excited. I was able to search all these kind of things. So I got to school. School was hectic. I don't want to lie. Commerce and computer science, all those modules were like overwhelming for me. I felt like dropping out, being honest. Then I realized computer science is not basically what I thought it would be. Okay, it's nice to be honest. Like being a student, it's like nice. You get to learn, you get to meet people, you get to learn some stuff. But they don't put me to the position where I want to be. By that time, I already know how to create classes. I know how to create functions. It's like I knew most of the basics of programming. And my first day, they were teaching those things as well. Then that's when I felt like, you know what, I'm not going to do this thing. So I went to Free Code Camp. On Free Code Camp, what I was doing HTML. I needed to know how to build websites fully. I did HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I went deep into them, and then I understood them. I started creating projects, manipulating objects using JavaScript, styling, CSS. I was for that year, I was deep on those things. And then 2021, I felt like now I'm getting good. I felt like I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't focused on the scope of the school because the scope of the school was just going to take me to become an ordinary student. Like I was going to graduate with the same information as like thousands of students. I didn't want to be like that. There was no way I was willing to be like that. My passion drove me to the point I wasn't settling to become an ordinary graduate. I pushed myself. I started doing .NET now. We were doing C sharp and we are doing C sharp in university, and then I started pushing myself deep. So by the end of 2020, by the end of 2020, I got a chance. Okay, I'm not so sure if it was 2020. Okay, no, it wasn't 20. By the end of 2021, if I recall correctly, around November, I got a chance to meet somebody who was going to grow me. His name is Fame. I'm probably going to link down his YouTube channel down below. That guy gave me a guide of like how to become a better programmer, how to advance my skills, how to have the motivation to go bigger than the school scope. So I got close to the guy. The guy brought me into some projects. He made me understand a lot of things about the software world. He taught me things actually I've never seen at school. And then for that thing, it made me see school in a different way. It's like, why am I even here? I do believe my family know that I've been planning to drop out for so long, for way too long, and then I couldn't. So as I was progressing, that is basically my software change, like how I let it go. Then if we move to the hacking part, we move back to the hacking part. So after I learned how to use some CMD command prompts, I basically moved to I checked something called dark web. To hack. Hackers and dark web are like associated. I wanted to see what is this dark web. So I was brought to something called Tor. So a Tor browser is more of like a browser that which it enables you to be able to access this thing. Since you become anonymous when you use it, your IP address keeps changing, or you use some IP address somewhere else. No problem. Then from there, I downloaded some tutorials of how to use Kali Linux. Then from Kali Linux, I got used these tools, join the repo, and it also contains Tor, but I don't remember the name of that Kali Linux version back then. I don't remember it. Backtrack or something like that. Yeah, I think it was Backtrack, something like that. And then I was like, I need to learn this thing. So as I was progressing, I got into some CTFs, catch the flag, on which let's say hacking CTFs. So let me try to zoom in. So capture the flag competition for hackers. You see, this is like competitions. They are more for like beginners and also advanced, depending on the level. And then I started getting into these things. I started learning what CTFs are, and then let me see. Yeah, so they gave us like some tutorials. So the CTF that I was using was Pico. If you can see on the previous videos, I was been doing more of like Pico CTFs. I have about I don't know 9,000 something points. I've been doing it for like some time now, and then we okay, I also got a chance to do what, to start building my own like simple malwares. So because it's like, okay, on one of the challenges on the CTFs, I got exposed to this challenge on which we now do something called reverse engineering, meaning you get to see the code that has been written, right? Like you see the malware code, and then as you see the malware code, you get, I'm a programmer, I know how to read code. Then I get to realize that, you know what, this is something I can write. I start to build my own simple malwares. But to do a malware, you need to have what, a virtual machine. I got into something called a virtual machine. This is a virtual machine. These are two virtual machines that I have. So you need a virtual box to manage your virtual machines. And then I have Windows, I have Kali Linux. So I needed to test my stuff. These are the things that I use to test or to complete most of the challenges. I'm not so sure if I can open this one. We're gonna have to wait for it to see if our error is gonna open. So from then, I got familiarized with Kali Linux, on which on Kali Linux I was doing some, this was some interesting stuff. It was, Kali Linux is, to be honest, is like, it's insane. The commands and all those things, there are a lot of them, and then it was actually a pretty exciting process to get to know all those commands. This one, it actually made me feel like a real hacker. Like I felt like now I'm that guy within the basement wearing a hood. This is what it takes to become a hacker, to be honest. This is like the basic. To become a hacker, we have to know that you know Kali Linux. So from then I was, is it Maltigo? I was trying to, I have tried so many tools, Wireshark, to analyze the packages. And then as I was using Wireshark, I also had to learn what networking, to understand like there are specific protocols on which they are not protected. Like you can actually see the password that is being transferred to another network. When you do package analysis, it is crazy, to be honest. So let's see if we can, what is my password? I'm not so sure if I can. When was the last time I logged into this account? Seems like I'm in. So, what is it? View. Full screen. Let's see. Okay. So this is basically Kali Linux. So as you can see, I do have like some folder called Pico here, and then yeah, this is basically what I had to do. So I had to learn this terminal, on which it was difficult for me to learn this thing. Way too difficult. It's like so long, and then they keep telling you need to know or be really comfortable to use this thing. And then somehow I got into this thing. I started doing it, using it more often, and then yeah, I started understanding Kali Linux more, not at a deeper level, but at like an average level. And now I can say I'm comfortable to learn whatever I want to learn. If I want to learn some forensics, how to do forensics using Kali Linux, I can do that. So because Yeah, I do. Some challenges taught me how to use it. So it's like those CTF challenges made me the kind of or gave me the information that I have about hacking, if it makes sense. So hacking, to be honest, it is exciting. It is something that I'm gonna be doing mostly as my hobby. It's like it's nice breaking some systems, and it's also good to, since I'm a builder, I build applications. I also need to know how to break them, or know at least how hackers break them, so that I don't build something that it has a vulnerability or can be the feature that I'm using. It has already been exploited. So it's best for me to always be up to date with this kind of information. Otherwise, that's it about this video. Hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next upcoming videos. Cheers.